Cold reading is a technique that a lot of people use to know more about the other person, and then they say that, you know, they're psychic. But cold reading is something that I think that a lot of people who are empathic already do, okay, and they don't even know it. I do it all the time. And sometimes I don't really have to know a person's sign or even read tarot cards to figure out what is going on with that person. And I could just tell you that you could read a person by what they post on Instagram, or how they're acting in front of you, if you have them in front of you, or even in a video. Okay, it's not that difficult. And you could train yourself to be a cold reader, okay, and be empathic. However, being empathic does have a downer. Once you sharpen your empathy, you start to pick up everybody's energy. And if you don't know how to shut it down, you could get overwhelmed, okay? You could have your senses overwhelmed, and you could start getting drained. So that is the downer of being an empath. And I've had to learn over the years how to deal with it, because it's so hard and it's overwhelming. And one of the ways that I deal with it is just grounding, you know, being barefoot, and also shutting all, you know, the electronics, okay? Especially anything that's to do with Windows, like a computer or a phone. And if I feel like I'm overwhelmed, then that's when I say it's time to shut it off, okay? Now, developing your empathy, you have to, I would say you would have to like study palmistry. That would be very helpful. You would have to study body language. That's extremely helpful. Get a book on body language and start studying people. And it does take a long time, okay? I had a body language book this small, and I never got to finish it because the illustration, I had to memorize them, and I had to apply it on people, and it was just so, you know, too much to remember. But I got a little bit of it, and I also apply it with other techniques that I use. Also, face reading, that's like awesome, okay? The destiny is written on your face, okay? That's a Chinese proverb. Now, what a person posts on Instagram really does say a lot about the person, okay? If you really pay close attention, you could pick up so much detail from that person's life that it's not even funny. Okay, and when I'm bored, sometimes I go, you know, into other people's IG, and, you know, just take a look at their stuff, just like anybody else does. And, you know, the other day I came across this boy that, well, I was looking at his profile for quite a long time, and I don't even know why, honestly. But I think that a lot of things that he posted, you know, kind of vibed with me, even though, you know, it was just strange. And he plays the piano. He's into clocks, okay, and he was putting pictures that were very dark, but I wouldn't say like, you know, dramatic dark. I would say like, you know, the sunset going down, and you know, I was like very intrigued. And then I started to cold read him, you know, and we started talking, and he was very impressed, you know, of how much I knew about him, you know, and I didn't even know him. So we had a lot in common, because he does, you know, he's into time, and I'm into time too. I'm into the time of the sky, and also I could tell he was introverted, okay. And he was like, how did you know I was introverted? I was like, well, look at the pictures that you're posting, okay? They're very toned down, okay? So a lot of the things that people post on Instagram, I mean, it really does say a lot, okay, about them, or on their Facebook. And on videos too, you could really read a person's habits on a video. You could tell their emotions, okay, what they're feeling at that time, just by the vibe, their tone of voice, everything. And you know, it's not that difficult. A lot of people on Instagram do this, okay, because you guys are like, you know, psychics and wizards out there. But a cold reading is a very good tool, you know, because you know, it does help you figure out situations. It does help you, you know, figure out situations, and, you know, what are people's, you know, real intentions. And you don't really have to, you know, draw out tarot cards or do astrology, you know, to do, you know, a physical scan of the person. But if you really want to get good at it, I would really suggest that you study the tarot cards, study the runes, study I Ching, study the palmistry, study face, study the body language, and you could combine all of that together, and you are going to be super empathic, okay? So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and namaste.